Hey guys, I'm sure you've seen some of those videos when the iPhone 15 Pro came out about how they compared it to a Blackmagic 4K or some other expensive cinema camera, and how everything was just so close. But one of the things that made the difference stand out was the lack of depth of field. And you probably say, well, you can use cinematic mode for that, but on the iPhone 15 Pro, you can't use cinematic mode with Apple Lock, which sucks. But I think I found a solution that you can add some depth of field, much like I'm doing in this video, in post. So let's jump into Resolve and I'll show you how I did it. Okay, so here we are in Davinci Resolve, and you can see I got some video loaded up here. We got Baby Yoda and MJ. Before we get started, first thing we need to do is we need to make a depth map. Now, if you have the studio version and preferably a higher end computer, you can use the depth map built into DaVinci Resolve. If you don't, then what you can do is you can go to what's called Runway ML, and I'm going to load that up right here. What you'll do is you want to look for depth extractor. Depth, not depth, depth. Like deep. Yeah. So, in case I can't talk right. Here we go. And then what you'll do is you'll drag your video into this. What I was just doing first is extracting, rendering a like a H.264 version of your video file with it already graded. And what all you need to do is take, which is this right here, drag it here. Just so you guys know, this is not a quick tool that you can just apply to get this depth of field and just snap your fingers and it's done. This is going to take a little time. But once you get your video loaded, you click process, and you will have to sign up, but there is a free version that it limits you to 720p export, but that's fine for what we need to do. And then you just hit export. Once it's done, you'll be able to download it, which I'm not going to, because I've already done that. So let's go back to Resolve. And another thing you want to do, and I just did a second timeline for this, you're going to reload it, because for Fusion, you need to match the resolution. And then what you will also need to do is we're going to go back to, you'll need to download Reactor. It's a program that gives you a bunch of free Fusion plugins and stuff like that. And once you download it, you will load it into, all you got to do is drag the file into a Fusion node, and it will look something like this. And what you'll do now is do a search for depth defocus. Now we're in Fusion. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that depth map we just made, bring it into it, and let's rename it to map to avoid any confusion. I added these in just so we're not looking at just pure log footage here. Let's give it a little bit of color. There we go. And then this is totally optional. You delete these when you're done. But we're going to click onto it, and then we're going to shift input, and we want to look for depth to focus and add that in. Take the output of your depth map and into the yellow triangle on the depth of focus node, and we'll bring that into the first window here. You see a depth map here. Now what we want to do over here in the inspector is check this focus map little tab there and check use alpha. Now all this you can you'll use these little settings to kind of tweak your alpha map, which it is now. Now we're going to go back to our media 1, hit space input, and type in and look for depth defocus. And we're going to click add. Now we want to take the output of depth to focus and to the green triangle on depth defocus. And as you can see, we got some blur. We need to change the depth map channel to alpha. And now that's pretty much it. Now you will use these to kind of choose your focus. Like right now, MJ's in focus and Baby Yoda is not. What if we want to change that? So all you have to do, take our foreground, bring it back this way, and Yoda should come into focus. There he is. And let's take the focus and move it that way, and MJ should get blurry. Not quite, because he's still a little bit further than the rest of it. Notice how Yoda's in focus, MJ's kind of in focus, and then the background's blurry. Now we can just take our focal point and just adjust it till, and now MJ's fuzzy. And there's also a check here, and you can also play with it with the like your perspective correction to kind of dial that in just the way you want it. And then you can also adjust, notice kind of like these halos going around them. You can adjust that with this little check right here and just move it up until that halo goes away. You may also need to adjust this little check right here as well. And you can adjust the strength. And you could also go to here, and this is where, like I say, you may need to tweak it a little bit. Like, trying to get rid of this right here. So let's zoom in on that. So you got a kind of a push and pull type of thing here. And once you get to where you like it, which I think that looks pretty good. But let's say you want to animate it and take go from Yoda. You can actually keyframe all this. We're going to select there. We're going to select everything there. And you would basically do the opposite. So we'll take Yoda there, we'll blur him, and we'll bring in Jay on back. And there you have it. And then you can and now we'll go back to the first one because I completely screwed that up. And we'll just again sharpen up Yoda. And blur in J again. And if you, I'm gonna, because this is gonna play choppy as all get out. If you play it, you will see Yoda get blurry, and then J come into focus. And there you have it. And once you're done, you can delete these here. Corrector one, go back to your, and I would highly suggest doing this, going into playback, Fusion memory, make sure that's turned on. Your render cache, make user or smart, and let this this is where you want to go kind of take a break, get something to eat, take a nap, do whatever. Because this is going to take a while to cache. Once you do that, you're all set to, and I would make this last. Do your grades first. Because it's like I said, this is going to take a while. But when it's done, you can export it, and you'll get something like this. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you do, please hit like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to that magical number of 1,000 subscribers, so I would appreciate it if you could help me out, and I'll catch you in the next video.